Oh, hey there. I'm Hunter Hinkle, and this is Sam Rupe. Oh wait, no, it's not. Oh wait, you're not
Hunter.
You're not Sam. Oh, there you are.
Hunter, how did you get me here?
Don't ask too many questions. Anyways, this Friday the Panthers are taking on the Indian Valley Braves at Stewart Field at 7 p.m.
Best of luck, go Panthers. All right, we're gonna send it to my favorite interviewer.
Wait. I have a joke. What do you call a magic dog?
I don't know.
A labracadabra.
All right, we're gonna send it to you, Sam Rupe. Take it away. Hello everyone, I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Tanner Toth, and we're going to be talking about football. Well, Coach, my first question is this. You're back in the regional playoffs and facing the same team that ended your season in last year's regional semifinal. How much does that game from a year ago fuel your team's mindset and preparation this week?
This is something we talked about back in July when we were just getting started with the season, that we felt like we had a lot of pieces back from last year, and that should be the goal, to get back here and play these guys again. And take it to that next level, that we felt like we were the best two teams in the region. So it's a great testament to our kids of staying the course, staying focused all year long, and now we have that opportunity to go and to play them. And obviously it's a step further than we were a year ago, but we're one of 56 schools left playing in the game, so we're excited to be there. But it's not just a parade to be playing it. Let's go and do something.
Well, Tanner, this team was a part of that semifinal loss last year, and now you're one win away from the Final Four. And you can get there by a revenge game written in the stars against Indian Valley. So what's the emotional tone in the locker room like heading into a rematch with the team that cut last year short?
The emotional tone is, I'd say, pretty high, I think. I mean, really the only guys that believe in us are in that locker room. I mean, you look outside, people are asking you guys think you can move the ball. Obviously, you look at the weather, it looks like it's going to rain Friday. Obviously, that, I guess, goes in their favor. So I got people texting me, are you going to be able to move the ball in the rain? Or do you think you have a good chance of winning? I mean, yeah. I mean, the people in our locker room believe. I mean, like he said, we started talking about it since June, July, 4 or 5 months ago. Really, we thought about it last year when it ended our season. This is the team that we're going to see next year, and we want to make it back to this point. And now that we made it one game farther and we're one game away from the Final Four, we're going to take it one game at a time, and I think that we can beat them.
Yeah, and really belief in the guys in the locker room is all that matters. The outside noise doesn't. Well, Coach, Indian Valley revolves around one player, Grady Kinsey, the star running back who just broke the OHSAA all-time rushing touchdown record with 128 rushing touchdowns and 133 total in his career. What challenge does he present, and what's your plan defensively to keep him from taking over the game like he has?
No, he's tough, man. He's great. He's a great player. He should have won Mr. Ohio or Mr. Football last year. He ought to win it again this year. He's a tremendous athlete, tremendous talent. He's a humble guy. He's strong. He's fast. His thighs are so big, he doesn't run straight. He kind of runs out, so it's tough to really wrap up both legs. But we've got to, if we can limit him and get them down when we have the opportunity to, and make them have to dig into their offense a little bit deeper, so as opposed to just handing off and letting them go. We're going to be in a good spot. A year ago, he was averaging 13 yards coming into the game. We held him to 6 yards per carry. I thought we did a decent job last year of cutting down his big plays. They still were able to sustain some drives, but we missed a couple of opportunities. So I think the key to playing with these guys is not just stopping him, but we've got to put up points on our side. If you can not allow them to get up by 2 scores and just say, hey, we're going to give it to 22, then we'll have a chance to make them have to do some things that they may not feel comfortable doing, or maybe doing some things that they're not as seasoned doing. So we've got to be able to score on the offensive side of the football and keep it a back and forth game where there's a little bit of pressure. Last year we had a couple of missed opportunities that we could have been tied at halftime going into it. We had a 4th down, we came up about 3 inches short, and then we had a 4th and goal that we jump off sides on 4th and 2 that the hole was there. Carson could have walked in the end zone. And again, you're talking about being tied at halftime against a team that won the state championship. So I don't think that we're far off a year ago, and I think that the kids are hungry for what we want to do. I think we're a little bit better up front this year, a little bit more experience. So we've got to manage him, maintain, and eliminate the big plays, get them down. We have the opportunity to, and offensively we've got to score to put pressure on them to not just be able to sit and hand it or run it with him.
Well, Coach, I saw him play last week, and he's everything you told me he would be and more. I don't think he was hit at the line of scrimmage one time. He had gaping holes to run through. But the other thing is their quarterback is really fast too. I mean, he's an excellent runner. It looked to me like he was running the old outside veer with no option. He was just take that outside stretch course, and their opponent had no answer for that.
Yep.
And so what do you do? You have a two-headed monster. You have to stop their tailback.
Yep.
But their quarterback is going to run the ball as well.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. He probably was their best defensive player a year ago. He really caused some issues for us, but they all play hard. They play well together. He's a tremendous athlete. He's a great basketball player as well. So you want to be able to say, let's just sell out for 22, but he's just as good of a runner in a little different style. But he's speed. He's long. So like I said, we've got a couple of plans to be able to try to manage the best we can. I think our defense has done a great job this year. We've got, I think, 7 games where we've allowed 7 or less points. So we're going to rely on our defense to do the same thing they've done all year to get us this point. And when we have opportunities, we just got to get those guys down.
Well, when we're talking defense, and let me interrupt Sam again. They play a 4-4. It looks like a cover 3. But I don't know if it's my imagination or I want to see what you've seen on film. Their defensive line look to me like they're in like NFL pass rush mode. I mean, they attack immediately. There's none of that do that stuff on offensive linemen. So what have you seen from their defensive line on film?
Yeah, they're very aggressive. They get off the ball quick. They're aggressive getting through their rush lanes. Their back half does a good job. They're the hardest playing team we've seen. They play hard. They play fast. So we're going to have to do some things to try to take advantage of those things. But they're very good up front. They're very strong, very attacking. Their offense and defensive line are very good. They're not necessarily the ones that get the credit because of the stuff that 22 has done. But their offensive line fires out hard. They fire out low, so they're very well coached up front. So we've got to have our offense and defensive line, who's been a strength for us in this all season, has got to play their best game on Friday.
Well, Tanner, on defense at middle linebacker, what is your mindset going into a matchup? Because I'm sure that it can seem like a daunting task, but how are you and Harrison going to get that job done?
Well, I feel like we just have to do what we've done all year. I mean, yeah, we're undersized, but we've talked through the week, like coming into this week, we got to have one of our best games this week, and we got to say that from here on out. We got to have a better game every single week. We got to improve. Yeah, you can look at last year's game and be like, yeah, we got to make that here. We got to make that here. But we're going to fix that this year. We're going to go out. We're going to tackle them. We got to rally to the football. It's something we didn't do very well last year at certain times, which is why he broke certain runs or whatever. But I've talked to Terrell, I've talked to Paul. I said we got to have our best game this week because, I mean, that's what it's going to take to beat these guys, and I think that we're very capable of doing that.
Well, Coach, your defense also played really well last week. What did you like most about the discipline, the communication, and execution, and how does that carry into a big-time matchup like Indian Valley?
I think last week we were playing a team that was undefeated, a team that had just beat the pants off everybody they had played. So there was a lot of people that questioned if we were going to be able to win that game, and I thought our guys really put that chip on their shoulder that the way we're playing an undefeated team that had only given up 52 points all year. We were able to put up 47. They had shut out a lot of teams. So like I said, there was a lot of extra fuel to the fire last week to really go out and prove a point. I thought we had a great statement when the defensive line did a great job, as well as the linebacker stuff in their run, which is what their strength was. Their running back was the district player of the year, not ours, so we felt like, hey, we need to go out and show that our guy's a better guy. And so our defense went out, they played lights out, they really controlled the line of scrimmage, held them to negative yards rushing for a team that was a run-dominant team. And the same thing this week, man. They're a 83% run. You got to stop the run. If you can stop the run, you have an opportunity to make some plays. But it's easy to say we got to do that when nobody else has really stopped them or slowed them. So that it's going to come down to, can we get a couple of stops and force some extra possessions for our offense to be able to get? And a couple of takeaways would be very nice, But we got to play well up front. We got to tackle.
Well, Tanner, even in a huge playoff win, you're constantly coaching up younger guys, fixing alignments, and keeping the energy high. How do you approach your leadership during weeks when the stakes keep getting higher?
I approach it the same way I feel like every single week. I mean, last week came off the field after, he pulled us out and he's like, "You're done." I was like, "All right." But, yeah, it was a little whatever, but at the same time, it's like we got to stay healthy for next week because we know it's coming. So, what I chose to do was, I asked for the iPad and I talked to Dalton, whatever. And, for the first touchdown they had, special teams touchdown, muff snap, he tried to turn around and kick it. I told him, I said, just kick it out the back of the end zone at that point. I said 2 points is better than 7, especially in a big game. And that's something that I feel like we have to fix this week. At certain times. We did pretty well on kickoff last week. They had one that broke, which obviously was their second touchdown. But I feel like I approach it the same way every week. We had a couple adjustments we had to make on-field adjustments last week during the game, which when they made motions, it was like, "Hey, you got to do this." And we couldn't go to the sidelines and be like, "What do we do here?" We had to fix it in game, and I feel like that's something that we do pretty well.
Well, Coach, Tanner has been a major leader all season, and from my experience, a vocal leader can't really be coached. Like, that skill is not really coached. It's you're kind of born with it. So how important will his presence and communication be this week while preparing for a run-heavy Indian Valley?
It's vital. It's like you just mentioned. There's things that we can't call timeout. It's not after every play you get to come to the sideline and talk it over. You got to be able to fix some things when you see things are not right. And he plays on both sides of the football. He plays on some special teams. There's not really a time to say, "Hey, you need to do this, 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 and this." So the amount of time he puts into his film to see different things, the amount of time he's able to understand what's going on and just have that brain for football, he's able to pick up and see, all right, this is what they're doing, this is what we need to do to kind of give them a curveball or do something different. But it's a testament to him. He's very coachable. I'm not coaching his leadership, but he's very coachable. He takes the coaching. If Coach Phillips says, "Hey, this is what we need to do," then he takes that and makes sure that he's spreading it too. But it's just like having a coach on the field. It's like the NFL have the coach-to-player communication, but there's no coach-to-player communication here. He's an extension of that and gets it done and does a great job leading for us on both sides of the football. It's tremendous to be able to have a player that can do that for you.
Well, Tanner, is this Tuesday?
Yes.
You have your game face on already. I just had a reunion with a bunch of guys I played defense with about 1,000 years ago. And, of course, none of us have our game face on anymore, but you do. I'm not worried about how you're going to play. I know how you're going to play. When you strap the hat on, you're going to be pumped. What I want to know is, how are you concentrating in your classrooms? How can you even stay focused on what you're supposed to be studying? You are a student athlete, student first. So how tough is that?
At times it can be, because I'm one of those kids, like he said, I like to watch film, so I get caught in class watching film most of the time, get told to put it away, but that's what I do. Once I get done with my work, that's my main focus. Once I get done with this, I'm gonna have extra time to watch film. So
well, I'll talk to Mr. Coffey about getting rid of those teachers.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, how important is that guys are not really getting in trouble, but how important is the dedication that these players have when they're literally watching film when their work is done in class? How important is that to a team and their team's success?
It's great. It's not necessarily great that we're doing it in the middle of class. That's not encouraged or taught, but we do encourage them to watch some film, because we get a limited amount of time that we can watch film plus practice. I don't want to keep kids here 8 hours a day. We'll do about 30 minutes of film before practice, where we watch a little bit of our stuff, a little bit of their stuff. We talk about different things, alignments. Then we go out and practice. I want to get guys out of here by 5 so they can go home, they get their dinner, they get their homework done, then they can watch a little film at home. That's the nice part about huddle and the access that you have. When I was in high school, this is well after Coach Clifford's time, we had about 6 DVD copies of a game film, and so you were just waiting for one of your teammates to be done with it. Now it's at your fingertips. You can download it. You got it on your camera, your cell phone. You got it on your Chromebook, that they can watch it anytime, anywhere. This morning we get done with our lifting. We have study skills and breakfast time, and to come up, and Harrison's on his Chromebook watching film for that 20 minutes of extra time that we've got. So that's what it takes, because we can't show everything, and you've got to be able to see just over and over, right? What's this run concept look like? How do we need to fit this run? Why did this big play happen? And so seeing it over and over, being able to say, okay, if we can do this and manage that, that's going to be beneficial for us. So we always are encouraging our guys to watch the film, because there's just we can't show them everything in about 2 hours worth of film throughout the week. So they've got to take that ownership of themselves, not during English class, not in the middle of a test, but when they do have some time, it is good for them to get a little extra film.
When you said we had six or seven DVDs.
I didn't say 6 or 7, I said 6.
Okay, 6 DVDs. DVDs, when I played coach, was the star of the Dick Van Dyke Show. So, that is something that is so more advanced. Even when I coached, I can't get over the technology that has changed the game films and things. Because I still remember taking the film and the guy picking it up, and we picked it up at the police station in Zanesville and pick up some donuts on the way back.
Right.
So those days are over.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Well, Coach, offensively, other than putting up more points on the board, what's the plan of attack, especially since it's going to be raining on Friday? What does Indian Valley's defense tend to give up the most, and what's the plan offensively?
Like you said, man, we got to put up points. I'm not saying we have to score more than they do. We have to win, right? But our mission's not going to. We're going to see what they do, how they're planning on defending us, because again, last year we were a little bit more throw heavy. This year we've been a little bit more heavy to the run. So first couple series, we just got to kind of feel them out, take some jabs, but also we got to put points up on those series. You can't come away empty-handed on multiple series against these guys. You've got to be able to get some momentum going. Last year we first play the game or second play of the game, we score on a big touchdown, and then they come back and score, and then we go back and turn it over. So we've got to be able to go punch for punch with these guys, and to do that, we've got to be sound on offense. Last week we had a lot of penalties, so we've got to be able to cut our pre-snap penalties that are just free yards. I had a couple of holding calls that got us into 2nd and 20. That's just a tough thing to overcome. You can't do that at this stage of the game. So offensively, we have some plays that we like versus what they do or what we expect that they're going to do to us. But like I said, we've got to see what they're doing to us, feel it out, and be able to adjust from there. Our coaching staff in the box has done a great job with that this year. Last week, Unioto was doing some different things. They were really stemming around and moving, trying to create some confusion for our guys. So what we had to be able to do is to adjust on the fly and to make some adjustments that we needed to. But I think we're very capable with running the football. We're very capable with throwing the football. So the little weather is not going to change. You can't just say, well, we're not going to throw. Now you got a tighter box, a little tougher to run when you got 9 guys in the box. So we're going to run our offense. We've thrown in the rain before. We've caught in the rain before. So like I said, just going to see how they're playing us, and then figure out a way that we want to attack it in the best way possible.
Well, Jonathan Alder came out. I mean, they were down at halftime, I think, 4 touchdowns. And they came out in the second half, and it was just like it was 0-0. They didn't panic. They ran their offense. They would run the ball, throw the ball. They had guys wide open in the passing game, and they moved the ball pretty well on Indian Valley. But they had taken 22 out of the game off defense and their quarterback both. So without those guys on defense, they didn't look superhuman. I mean, then Jonathan Alder went down the field, got 2 or 3 touchdowns on, and played them fairly even. It's just like you said, I think they took 7 or 8 minutes to score in the third quarter, and Indian Valley scored on their first or second play. So I think that's going to be the deal. You guys have to match score for score without a doubt.
Yeah, we got to match score for score. We've got to get a turnover or a stop on downs. We've got to be able to do something to get them feeling uncomfortable. And that they've felt comfortable all year. They really haven't had a team that's really stressed them or pushed them to the brink. That if we can get some stops or force them into some situations that are not comfortable to them, I think we're going to be in a better spot. If they're able to just be in total control, then they're going to just say, well, here it comes, stop it, good luck, and then they can pin their ears back on defense knowing that you're going to have to throw to play catch up. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to be able to manage our game and play it the way we want to play it, and not feel like we're playing from behind and having to abort the run and just start throwing, because I think that when we have the run, now we're able to open up the game with the pass. We're able to get our play action shots that we like to take. So but like I said, you can't get down 3 touchdowns, because then they're in total control.
Well, Tanner, you've battled through minor injuries throughout the year, but have remained a consistent force when you're healthy. How are you feeling health-wise heading into probably the biggest game of the season so far, and what are you doing to make sure that you're feeling 100%?
I feel pretty close to 100% right now. I mean, there's nothing, really bothering me. I mean, maybe it's here or there, but it's nothing that's going to bother me in this game. I mean, there's nothing that's going to take me out of this game unless I go out on a stretcher. I'll tell my guys that. There's no way I'm going to go out of this game. I mean, going back to last year, that hurt. I mean, going out, seeing those guys leave, Bentley, Isaiah, we knew coming back that we had the pieces to go back. And we've worked hard since June, July. To get back to this spot, and now that we're one game farther, we're only the third team in New Lex history to go this far. It's only been the game's only been won once. We're looking to be the second team to do it and go on to the Final Four.
Well, Sam, it's not the biggest game of the year.
No.
It's the only game. That's it. It's the only game.
And that reminds me of a little story that happened earlier this year at Tri-Valley when you got hurt. That was Tri-Valley, right?
Yeah.
And you went off to the sideline and
the one-legged linebacker. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like not even a minute later, you're out running back on the field, and I'm like, oh well, Tanner is okay. And then he's limping around, and then we asked Coach Board the following week, and he said, well, no, Sarah didn't tell him to go back on. He just got back on.
Yeah, that was kind of my own decision. I didn't talk to any coach before I went back on the field because I knew they wouldn't let me. So I came off the field. I went over and talked to her, and she asked me a couple questions. I said, I don't care. So I'm going back in the game. And she said, you sit here and let me make sure it's not broken or nothing. She said, I don't care what you do. I said, all right. And she touched in a couple places, and she gives that hurt. I said no, and then I ended up throwing a pick like next play or two after I came out, and as soon as I saw that, they yelled defense, so I took off and I just ran by the coaches because I knew they'd be like, get back over here. So I just kind of didn't talk to them.
You did a real nice imitation of a pancake on that first defensive play right there.
Yeah. As soon as that happened, I looked at Harry. I said, dude, I can't move. He said, go out. I said, I can't. I said, this is a big game for us. I said, we're not losing. I said, I can't go off the field. So.
Well, Coach, and at this point in the playoffs, every single win is in the small details. So besides penalties you already talked about, what are you stressing most to your players heading into Friday night's showdown?
Yeah, take care of the football. Like I said, offensively, we've got to be able to take care of it and score when we have the opportunities to. If we're punting 3-4 times, then we won't have a chance. Defense, we've got to get some stops. Perhaps a turnover or 5 would be good. Those are the little details here that the margin for error each week gets smaller. The teams are better. The wiggle room is less. So we've got to really be sound in what we do. We've got to take care of it. Jonathan Alder last week in their film, they threw 2 interceptions that are like just right to the defender. 2 interceptions in the first half is not going to be conducive to winning and having success against this team. So obviously being ahead of the sticks, not getting behind with the penalties, but scoring and getting a couple of stops, whether it's a turnover or just forcing them to punt, which is something they haven't done a lot of either. Last year we forced them to punt. They snapped it over the kid's head, and we got a short down and distance in a short field. So we've just got to be able to not let them feel comfortable and just be sitting there and total control of the game. We've got to have a little bit of piece of that too.
Their long snapper may not have earned a letter this year.
Probably not. Probably not.
No way.
Well, too bad for him. Well, Tanner.
Heartless Sam Rupe.
Well, speaking of heart, Tanner, what's your message to the community about the heart of this team and the fact that they get the liberty to drive up to Coshocton High School to watch this amazing game? So what's your message to the community, to the fans, to Panther Nation?
It's going to be a game to watch. Last year we said it was going to be punch for punch. We made mistakes where it wasn't. So, that's on us. We'll flat out tell you that game shouldn't have been the way it should have been. We still talk to this day that we should have had that game. That's what makes this game even better. This year I feel like we're more prepared. We're more versatile, I feel like, this year. Last year we couldn't run the ball like we did this year. So, like he said, we was pass heavy. I feel like this year that with the communication we have up front, that people are going to be in for a game. I think you come up to Coshocton, you ain't going to be wasting your time. You're going to be coming up to celebrate after the game.
Heck yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Sam Rupe, Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Tanner Toth, and best of luck. Go Panthers.
Thanks, Sam.